where India has strongly hit back at the US. Now this after Donald Trump threatened to substantially raise tariffs on goods from India over the purchase of Russian oil. Now New Delhi also reminded Washington then when it began importing from Russia after the outbreak of the Ukraine conflict, the US actively encouraged such imports. That's correct. The government also countered the stance of the European Union for singling out Indian refiners over their export of crude. The Foreign Ministry said that while India's imports are a necessity compelled by global market situation, the nations criticizing it are themselves, in fact, indulging in trade with Russia. India also listed out trade pacts that these nations have with Russia. My colleague Disha Bagchi unpacks this and more, but first listen in to Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar.
We live in complicated and uncertain times. Our collective desire is to see a fair and representative global order, not one dominated by a few. That quest is often articulated as political or economic rebalance. But I want to say this to you: obtaining respect and ensuring dignity for societies can also be achieved through cultural prowess, especially through cultural prowess. In that context, traditions are of particular value because ultimately they define identity. We must be assured about what we are if we want to be confident about shaping the future. For nations like us, traditions are truly a great source of strength.
Very strong allegation, a baseless allegation, in fact, from US President Donald Trump. But now India really making it clear that India will not tolerate any this sort of baseless targeting by not just US but also Europe, the same countries who are also engaged in trade with Russia, say whether it comes to fertilizer or other minerals. So the Indian statement saying clearly that it is New Delhi who's being targeted for their imports of Russian oil. And in fact, India's position has been clear that firstly, the fact that these oil imports were done at a time to maintain the oil prices in the global economy. And if you look at the figures, in fact, the West, in fact, European countries are among the top importers of this Indian refined oil. So a very strong statement coming in from India, and again an escalation when it comes to this war of words between India and Washington. Because remember that both sides are still engaged in trade negotiations, but at the same time US President and Trump's aides have in fact been making various comments regarding India's imports of Russian oil. But now linking trade to in fact diplomacy and to the Russia-Ukraine war, because we're also seeing that Trump is upping the ante on Russian President Putin. So using all of that, weaponizing tariffs, weaponizing this war to up the pressure on India and make India reach some sort of trade deal is a massive provocation from US President Trump.